In the space of the next 5 days, Arsenal's top four hopes could be revived or ruined. Which scenario is going to play out? Good evening and welcome to Emirates Stadium. This is the Matchday Show, and wherever you are in the world, it is great to have you along for a key clash away to Swansea City, part one of a hugely important double game week. I'm delighted to say we have a distinguished former Gunners #1 with us tonight, a title winner in 1989, no less. I'm really looking forward to hearing the views of John Lukic throughout the show. John, it is brilliant to see you. Unfortunately, the side has struggled away from home this season. What do they need to do? What do they need to focus on tonight to ensure we don't return with tail between legs?
Well, we've got an uplift, haven't we? Coming out of the cup competition, playing Chelsea, winning that game, getting to the final. That's a little bit of momentum, and that momentum has to be sustained tonight. You know, taking it into a team that's struggling. I think it's fair to say three games they've won at home, and I think you just got to go there and you just got to impose your game on them rather than sit back and wait to see how the game develops. I think from the onset, if we impose that game on them, I think there'd be too much for them, to be quite honest with you tonight. I
agree. Fast start, then dominate. That's the plan. With loads to discuss on and off the pitch, we are expecting a deluge of your tweets and emails this evening. And there is good news. We have the one and only Nicole Holliday in place to handle all your incoming messages. Let's say a big hello to Nicole.
Good evening. What a lovely intro there, Adrian. Thank you. Now, as always on the Matchday Show, we want to hear your thoughts. So tonight's question is, what are you most looking forward to seeing from Mkhitaryan on the pitch? So get your tweets in now using the hashtag ArsenalNation, and I'll read through some of the best ones a bit later on.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's a good question. Just very briefly on Mkhitaryan, good signing. Happy with that?
Yeah. Quality footballer. I don't think there's any dispute in that. He didn't seem to settle in at Manchester United for whatever the reasons may be. I think there might have been a bit of a personality clash with the manager and various other things going on there. So I think he's wanted at the club, which is always a good start for a player. And hopefully he can hit the ground running.
Is he a Wenger-type player? It feels to me as if he's more suited to playing Arsenal's fluid game than maybe Manchester United.
Yeah, I think Manchester United, and certainly under Mourinho, they're a little bit more regimented, whereas Arsenal's a little bit more freer, and he likes players to express themselves. And, you know, if he's going to express himself, this is a place to be.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to seeing Ozil and Mkhitaryan in the same Arsenal side. Bundles of creativity. We saw a good performance, didn't we, in the Carabao Cup recently? So we come into this match in a good frame of mind, John. Over two legs, not many people fancied Arsenal to overcome Chelsea, but the boys did the club proud.
Well, they did. The first leg was the important one. To get a clean sheet at Stamford Bridge was important, and then to get back to the Emirates, all right, we had a little bit of luck, but you make your own luck on the night, you know, and had that gone the other way and it was Chelsea, we'd have been sat here weeping and saying, well, weren't we unlucky, but we played really well. You know, it's gone for us. We're in a final. It's a stepping stone now. We're at the crucial time of the season now. You know, you're going into February, now's the time to put a run together, and hopefully the Chelsea game was the start of that.
Yeah, what does reaching a Wembley showpiece do for team morale? It's got to lift everybody, hasn't it? I know that people moan about or bemoan the League Cup. They say it's not important, but that gives everyone, it gives individuals incentive to perform as well, doesn't it?
It does, indeed it does, but it's never important until you get to the final. You know, and it's a big competition. You know, let's be honest, at the start of the season, you've got your competitions. You've got the League Cup, which we're in the final of. You've got the FA Cup, which we're out of, League, which we're out of, and Champions League or Europa League this year. So there's 4 competitions. You're in the final of one of those, you know. So if you're in the final, you know, you've got a chance, and hopefully it's some silverware. Not that, you know, the object of the exercise is to win the league, you know, but somewhere along the line you've got to win trophies. We won the FA Cup over the last 3 out of the last 4 years. League Cup, we need that consistency really to go into the league to start picking up points. And I think away from home this season, we've not picked enough points up to be real contenders to get into that top 4, although it's still a possibility. Yeah,
lots to feel encouraged about with that Arsenal two-legged victory over Chelsea. Not least the formation we saw in that second leg, 4 at the back. Arsene Wenger has, for over about a year now, over a year, isn't it, since he went with 3 at the back. He's reverted back to 4 recently, and it's worked okay. What do you make of this 4-3-2-1 formation?
I like the 4 at the back because that's something that it's proven, isn't it? You know, yeah, you can mess about with it, and as Arsenal's done over the last 12 months and gone to a 3. You've got to have the personnel to play that way, and I don't think we've got the personnel to do that. All right, at the onset it seemed to work, you know, but people seem to get bogged down with the responsibility, whereas in a 4, people can be put, you know, you can designate jobs to people. And with El Neni sat in front of them, you know, you've got a little triangle there, the 2 centre-halves and El Neni, you know, which pushes people wide. It doesn't give you the vulnerability in the middle of the pitch there. Yeah,
that'd be interesting to see how they fare this evening. Right, will new boy Henrik Mkhitaryan get the nod to start, I wonder? Here, with all the team news from the Liberty Stadium, are your magnificent match summarisers, Chris Harris and Dan Roebuck.
Thanks, Adrian, and welcome along to what is just becoming a very wet Liberty Stadium here in Swansea. It is Swansea versus Arsenal tonight, as I'm sure everyone is aware. And also, team news is out, and Chris, you can confirm whether Henrik Mkhitaryan starts or not.
He doesn't start. He's on the bench tonight. Very much looking forward to seeing how he fits into this Arsenal team. He has that footballing intelligence. You sense he'll play well alongside the likes of creative players like Ozil, Lacazette, Iwobi as well. Looking forward to seeing how he plays. People talk of him as a potential Santi Cazorla long-term, not long-term, but short-term replacement because of the way he plays around pressure as well. So maybe a central midfield role for him. Looking forward to seeing where he comes into the side.
Mkhitaryan only on the bench, but there are changes to our starting 11 from our last game against Chelsea, which was, of course, last midweek.
Yeah, 2 changes. So Jack Wilshere's not feeling very well, so Aaron Ramsey comes in for the first time in 7 weeks for his first start since December. Petr Cech also comes back into the side. David Ospina drops out after playing in the Carabao Cup against Chelsea. And Olivier Giroud is back in the squad and back on the bench.
Of course, we're taking on the bottom place side in the Premier League. And a few weeks ago, this was, you would have thought, almost a gimme for Arsenal, but typically of our opponents, they've just put in some decent performances, haven't they?
They've been a bit of a renaissance under the new manager, to be fair to them. They didn't start the season very well at all. They played so well against Liverpool. They played in that kind of 5-4-1 formation. Liverpool had most of the ball, most of the shots, but none of the goals. We need to be patient tonight. I think they'll play the same way against us, defending deep, defending nice and solid, breaking quickly, getting quick passes up to the strikers. We need to be patient. No silly mistakes from Arsenal tonight.
We need to bide our time to make sure we come away from the Valleys with a full 3 points. We'll have full live commentary for you from 7:45.
Nice one, Dan. Thank you very much. Here is your starting 11 then. Just the 2 changes from that Chelsea Cup victory. Petr Cech is in, as is Aaron Ramsey. Real shame to lose Jack Wilshere to illness, and I'm sure you've spotted it already, but Henrik Mkhitaryan is among the substitutes, as is Olivier Giroud, of course, linked with a move away from the club this week. Right then, John, Aaron Ramsey for Jack Wilshere. First and foremost, it's disappointing, I guess, to lose Jack because he's been in such good form.
He has. He's been a revelation since he's got back into the team, and it's sad that he's not in the team. Having said that, you'd want him out through illness rather than injury, you know, so fortunately he's not injured. But he has made an impact on the team, you know, and it's almost as if the team seems to revolve around him. You know, he's picking little passes out, and he's very good at controlling football matches, and that's what he's done really, really well. Ramsey, different kind of player, but again, you know, he's not played since December. He needs to get his foot back in the starting lineup if he can, and to me, he needs more consistency in his game. You know, sometimes he drifts out of games. He just needs to be more consistent. Whether or not that's something that he can do or not is a different thing.
Yeah, big opportunity for Aaron Ramsey this evening. I'm looking forward to seeing him break into that penalty box. Swansea, by the way, are going to line up with a 5-4-1 formation. Very defensive from their standpoint. So we'll need Aaron Ramsey to break the lines. Now, Petr Cech has been waiting to claim a record-breaking 200th Premier League clean sheet since mid-December. Is tonight the night, I wonder? As we tick down towards kick-off, let's hear some thoughts from the big man himself.
Generally, when you play teams who are in the relegation zone and they play big teams, they have not much to lose, because everybody says, okay, you are in the relegation zone, the top team is coming, you might lose, and I think that pressure of you have to win the game is not there. So they play a little bit with less pressure than they were used to in the last few weeks, because they are in the relegation zone, and I think it actually helped them to have a great performance against Liverpool and a great result for them, because it was a huge 3 points for them. Now they have another big game coming up against us, and these are the points maybe nobody really expects from them, and they can only gain, and I think this makes the game even more difficult for us. They still have plenty of games to play, so the pressure is not as huge as going to be later on, which can make a big difference. Or if you come to March and you are 7 points behind, and you only need a miracle, obviously the atmosphere in the team and maybe the determination is not as high as now. So it plays the part, but generally in the Premier League already, when you play any team, it's a difficult task to beat any team, and if you play teams with a special need, like getting the points to avoid the relegation, it's a huge motivation for every player to show that we can do it, and obviously then it makes it harder for you to go there and win. Obviously, if you do well and you take control of the game, you score early goal, and you are in a driving seat, obviously you can make it easier for yourself, because obviously the pressure will be more on them. Well, I think being a goalkeeper, you feel lonely all the time, but it's a special position on the pitch, and I think this is why I love it, because it's a big challenge, and for plenty of various reasons, and usually you're the one to blame all the time for anything. So and the one who never takes the credit if somebody scores a goal. So that's how it goes. But as I said, I enjoy the challenge, and I love being in that position where you make important saves, and regardless of people notice or not, that you made an important save, and you gave yourself and your team a chance to win, and it makes me happy.
Interesting stuff there. So goalkeepers are lonely then, are they, John? How did you enjoy the solitude of standing between the sticks? And I want to know what you and goalkeepers in general are thinking about when players up at the other end of the pitch.
Well, first of all, the lonelier I was, the better it was, because obviously nobody was nowhere near you. So that suited me down to the ground. But it's concentration, basically, because you can't... some goalkeepers can, some goalkeepers can't, but by and large I think you find that focus of attention is on the ball, so you're always watching the play and you're watching what's happening, because it develops very, very quickly now, so you've got to be on the ball. I understand what he means by loneliness, but that being said, you've got your own destiny in your own hands, and that's a crucial thing. And one of the things as a goalkeeper, you are actually an actor, whether you like it or not, because you can't let anybody in a stadium know how you're feeling. If you've thrown one in, for instance, it's no good crying into your gloves. You've got to put on this brave face now, and that's irrespective of how you're feeling inside, because it does hurt. But all the time it does hurt.
What about this man we can see here, Petr Cech, warming up tonight? It looks horrible night, doesn't it, down at the Liberty Stadium? Where does he rank for you in the pantheon of Premier League goalkeepers? A lot of people will put him pretty high on that list.
Yeah, and it's a pretty formidable list. You put David Seaman in there, you can put Peter Schmeichel in there, and obviously Petr Cech goes in there. You look at the clean sheets that he's had, the things that he's won throughout his career.
Is he in the same class as those guys?
He's up there with them, yeah, of course he is. Yeah, I never like to compare like for like, to be quite honest, because it's different styles. Seaman and Schmeichel, totally different characters, totally different goalkeepers, got the job done. Petr Cech's different to those two guys, then you put Van der Sar in there, who's a different goalkeeper altogether. So they all have their own attributes, and what he does it well, and he's done it well over, 10, 12, 14 years or whatever it is in the Premier League. And that's no mean feat in itself.
Definitely. We wish him well tonight in search of that 200th clean sheet. Now, Arsene Wenger's last two visits to Swansea City have been pretty fruitful, with 7 goals scored and none conceded. It's time to find out what the boss is thinking ahead of this latest trip.
We've seen you use a number of different formations this season, whether it's 3-4-2-1, 4-3-3, 4-3-2-1. How much of that is down to circumstance, and how much is that down to having the players at your disposal to be able to adapt to those circumstances?
It's down to two main factors. The first is the formation of our opponent. So with Chelsea, we know each other so well. You know, I wanted to use a different system because sometimes it can create a surprise and give us an advantage in midfield, for example. And is as well down to the players available and to get everybody in his best possible position without being detrimental to the balance of the team. So all these factors combined dictate my decision, basically.
And just lastly, it's been a tough season for Swansea, but they've shown real signs of life under Carvajal, haven't they? And that win against Liverpool's a big warning for you going there on Tuesday.
It's a deep warning for us, yes, I agree completely. They've shown a resolute, dynamic performance where they defended a lot, but they defended well. And you could see in the end of the game they could win against a team like Liverpool, who is very dangerous going forward. They could win the game without conceding a goal, so that is a good warning sign for us. But we know what is at stake for us, you know, that in the Premiership we have we cannot waste points. If we want to come back in the top four, we have to prepare every single game with the utmost concentration and focus to win the game. We have to prepare for a battle, and I am confident that we'll be ready for it.
It's always good to hear from the boss, isn't it? Let's get the lowdown on today's opponents now from Nicole.
Yeah, well, Swansea have had a really poor season so far. They are currently 20th, so right down at the bottom of the Premier League table. Although they have won once and drawn 2 of their past 3 games, so they could be feeling slightly more confident today. Their top scorer is Jordan Ayew with 7 goals so far, and this fixture last season we won 4-0, so it's looking fairly good for us tonight.
Yep, fingers crossed. Thank you very much, Nicole. On that board there was an absence of an L. No defeats in the last 5 games for Swansea City. New manager spike. We've got Carlos Carvajal, of course, that's come in. Left field appointment, really. Just been sacked by Sheffield Wednesday. Walks into a Premier League job, but it's worked.
It has worked, but it's how long it works for. That's the problem. You know, they've not got an abundance of money to spend in the transfer window. Or there might be one addition to it. I don't know, but certainly going into tonight, it'll be interesting to see how they do set up, because that momentum is very difficult to maintain, and that's where, you know, Clement struggled. You know, he had an initial spike, came in, did a good job, and then it goes flat. And I have a suspicion that it will go flat for them again, because there's no new faces in there. There's nobody to freshen it up. All right, the ideas might be different or slightly different, but nevertheless, the players have got to produce, and they haven't done over the season.
No, good win last time out in the Premier League against Liverpool, 1-0. Their backs to the wall job, it really was. They only really had that one chance from a corner. They scored it. They need to be efficient. We're expecting them to be defensive tonight. I guess when you look at Swansea, and the reason why they're languishing is they sold Sigurdsson, they sold Llorente, didn't properly replace them, did they? No.
I think that's a cost exercise, isn't it? Get the money in. And it depends what the ambition of the football club is and what the budget are, to be quite honest with you, and that's probably the reason that they didn't replace them. Having said that, you know, you look at the result against Liverpool, and there's only so much you can do of hanging on to games, you know, because it's a difficult job to do that, because they're not free scoring by any means. You've got your top goal scorer on 7 goals. You know, they've won three home games, 2 away games. So that confidence is brittle, and irrespective of what's happened over the last 3 or 4 games, as soon as things start to go wrong in a game, you soon revert to time, and that's the difficult thing for them.
Yeah. Importantly as well, by the way, the team selection has set the cat amongst the pigeons, because there are a couple of kids in the starting lineup for Swansea tonight. Adam King lines up in central midfield, and young Joe Roden, a Welsh centre-half, comes in for Alfie Mawson. He's not involved. There are some strong names on the bench. Has Carlos Carvajal rested players for the visit of Arsenal? Has he gone with a weaker lineup?
Has he, or he's put the kids in there who are fearless, who he's got great belief in. He's obviously had good reports on those kids because he's not known them for any length of time. So it's perhaps going with youth and the fearlessness of youth, you know, because sometimes you need that going into a team where people haven't got the burden on the shoulders. You know, these young guys that can go in and they can play free for a period of weeks, and it freshens the whole thing up. So it might be that that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, it could go one of two ways. At this stage, just like to say a fond farewell to all the thousands of you that have just been watching on Facebook Live. If you'd like to continue with the Matchday show and listen to live commentary, you can subscribe via arsenal.com. For now, though, we're going to go to our friends at Opta who have come up with 3 things we need to know. Yep, 4 of our last 5 against Swansea at the Liberty have ended victorious. We've scored every time we've gone away to this stadium in South Wales. And only once in 34 games have we lost to the side bottom of the Premier League table. Fingers crossed that is not going to happen this evening. Is it all about attitude?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've seen the conditions. It's a wet Tuesday night in Swansea. that soon sorts the men out from the boys, you know. And we can laugh and joke about it, but nevertheless, that's it. You know, it's easy to get yourself up for the Carabao semi-final against Chelsea at the Emirates with 50-odd, 60-odd thousand people in the stadium. It's a rainy night in Swansea.
And you played in winning teams, successful teams for Arsenal, but there are occasions, even with successful players who are regarded as winners, there are occasions on a wet Tuesday night in Swansea or Stoke or wherever, where it just doesn't happen. There is that danger, isn't there?
There is that danger, but that's when you're reliant on the vocal people in the team to drag you through it. You know, you need characters. Character is probably an overused word, but you need people in the team to sort of say, hey, come on, you know, irrespective, forget the conditions, forget where you are, just get on with the job, you know, and that's the most important thing. And it's a state of mind when you go out onto a football pitch, as you well know, as I do. You know, if you go with a defeatist attitude or you think it's going to be easy, it never is, you know, and don't disappoint them, no. You know, because they're expecting a hard game. You know, that's what they're expecting, so don't disappoint them.
It is a cliche, but you do have to earn the right. You have to win that battle first and foremost. Right, Nicole, earlier on in the show, asked you for your thoughts on Mkhitaryan. Here she is now with some of your replies.
Yeah, we have had so many tweets coming in about Mkhitaryan, so bear with me, there are quite a few here. So Robbie G15 says, I want to see Mkhitaryan get his first assist tonight. You heard it here first. Cal Arsenal says, I like this one. Apparently, Ian Wright was told by Steve Bold that Mkhitaryan is absolutely flying in training. Promising signs, to say the least. MCFC Presso says, Mkhitaryan will become a top player at Arsenal. He has immense quality, should definitely get some minutes tonight. And Gunners for All says, Mkhitaryan has the qualities to integrate in our game based on movement and technical quality. A good team attitude, and I'm confident he'll do well. Keep those tweets coming in using the hashtag SCFCVAFC, and you can send your emails in to dan@studio@arsenal.co.uk.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, please do get involved in tonight's show. Dan, while he's commentating on the game, he loves to flick through some of your emails. He will read them out, and at half-time we'll get through some of your messages as well. So yeah, get involved on social media. Right, it is prediction time, John. We sound confident. We've seen the lineups. Swansea have shaken things up. 5-4-1, couple of kids in there. We're not going to mess this up, are we?
I'd like to think not. I'd like to think that Petr Cech gets his 200th clean sheet tonight. So that's the starting point. And I think, well, I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to go for 3-0.
3-0, we're going to go big. I like it. 3-0 and 4-0 the last 2 times we've been down to the Liberty Stadium. So that would be in keeping. What about you, Nicole? How are you feeling?
I was going to go for 3-0 as well, but I won't. I'll go for 2-0 tonight, yeah.
I'll tell you what, let's just do a clean sweep of clean sheets. I'm going to go for 1-0 to the Arsenal. Famous old scoreline, and fingers crossed Petr Cech does get that clean sheet at last. We are all confident then. Before we head over to the Liberty Stadium for first half commentary with Chris and Dan, we caught up with a few of the fans ahead of kickoff, and they were talking about the new signing.
Good signing?
I think so. I think he might do well at the club. He seems to play the type of way that Arsene Wenger likes to play. So look forward to seeing him play, hopefully very soon.
It didn't work for him at Man United. Why do you think he's more suited to Arsenal?
That's a good question. I think he controls the play well. I think he's kind of a box-to-box player. So I think that's what Wenger likes about him. I think he can control the ball well. He can have good link-up play. So I'm excited to see him.
Your views on Mkhitaryan?
Yeah, I think Arsene Wenger will just get around him and look after him. I think there was obviously a bit of an issue with him and Mourinho, perhaps, and it just didn't work out. So hopefully we can give him a second chance in the Premier League and he can thrive.
Just for a second, what do you think are his strengths? Why do you think he might be an asset for this team?
He's got good passing ability. I don't know too much about him, to be honest, but we'll wait and see.
Mkhitaryan could play in one of many positions. Where do you think would be his best position for Arsenal?
Well, he can play anywhere across the midfield, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think he's a defensive kind of midfielder, but he'll certainly play either on the wing or maybe in the Ozil role if he's not about. So I think he's very creative. He can spot a pass, and I look forward to having a few goals off him.
Well, with 4 of the top 6 not playing until tomorrow, tonight's clash at the Liberty gives Arsenal a chance to put just a little pressure on the teams above us in the table. A midweek trip to South Wales might not pose the problems of a few years back for Premier League teams, but as Liverpool found to their cost just over a week ago, nothing can be taken for granted against a Swansea side scrapping for their top-flight lives. Chris, this is no straightforward assignment.
No, we said in the team news piece earlier that it's been a bit of a renaissance and not a great time to come here and play. We've got a good record against Swansea here. We lost going back a few years when Sigurdsson was in his pomp, but since then some pretty decent results, and as Adrian said at the top of the show, it's just a huge week. You know, there's 6 points there. We should be winning all 6 points against Swansea and against Everton.
Arsenal team has been digested already. 2 changes from the side that defeated Chelsea in the second leg of that semi-final of the Carabao Cup last midweek. Jack Wilshere, as we know, is ill. Aaron Ramsey is recalled. Petr Cech replaces David Ospina. I'm a little bit disappointed, I've got to admit, not to see Henrik Mkhitaryan play from the start, but I can sort of understand it. He's not played an awful lot, have we, seen him for Manchester United?
No, I'm surprised. Maybe he needs a bit more time in training to understand the cohesion of this side and integrate into the way we play. I think he's going to fit in really well. He's that kind of free-spirited footballer who plays well with a manager like Arsene Wenger, who allows his players to express themselves. United, maybe they're more functional, maybe they're more effective, you might argue, but maybe that setup didn't suit him so well. I'm disappointed not to see Jack Wilshere. I just love watching him play. Hope he stays for many, many years. Ramsey comes back into the side. Of course, he renews his relationship with Granit Xhaka, and with El Neni playing behind the two of them, I think we'll see Ramsey push on a lot tonight, and maybe we'll see a bit more expansive play from Xhaka as well.
Yeah, Aaron Ramsey's got a good record here as well. He scored a couple of times in wins for Arsenal over Swansea. We're just about to get this fixture underway. A reminder of the full Arsenal lineup. Checking goal, back four: Bellerin, Monreal, Koscielny, Mustafi, and then El Neni, Xhaka and Ramsey. Iwobi and Ozil in behind Lacazette. Are we calling it a 4-3-2-1? Are we calling it a little bit of a Christmas tree formation, maybe? We're going back to 20 years ago, Terry Venables, or even 30 years ago.
From where we are now, it's a 2-3-2-3. But it's very fluid, isn't it? It's very fluid. El Neni can drop into the back to make it a back three. I think Ramsey will go box to box. Xhaka maybe will just hold his position a little bit more. It's very fluid.
We are underway. I'll rattle through the Swansea lineup for you as well. No changes to the side that got the better of Liverpool here by 1-0. It was a fluky win, some would say. Liverpool had an awful lot of chances and had an awful lot of the ball. They missed a sitter late on as well. When Firmino, I think it was, hit the post, and then Lallana couldn't follow up. They line up with Fabianski in goal, of course, an Arsenal old boy. The 3 centre-backs are Mawson, Fernandes and Van der Horn. The wing-backs are Olsen and Norton.
And then in midfield, Klukas, Kiefer and Dyer, and Jordan Ayew is going to play up front. Be interesting to see just how Swansea play this game, how much ambition they will show against Arsenal, because they are bottom of the table, but you would not say that they are not without a chance of climbing out of the relegation zone. Not this midweek, because it would take something spectacular here for them to do that, but just in general, because pretty much from 10th, even 9th down, you can see anyone going down at this stage. Chris.
Yeah, I think they can go 16th if they win today, so it's pretty tight down there. I think they'll play similar to the way they played against Liverpool. I think they'll defend quite deep. I think they'll think Arsenal are at their most vulnerable when you can catch them on the counter-attack. And if they come out at us at all, I think leaving those gaps in their own defence opens doors for us.
This is Petr Cech outside of his own goal to clear. The rain has come down over the last couple of hours or so, and just looking at the ball on the pitch, it's spinning up a little bit of, well, more than moisture, isn't it? It does seem pretty heavy underfoot.
I was right down pitch side for the warm-up and watching Mkhitaryan and Kolasinac and Mustafi just pass the ball to each other, and there was water splashing up off the surface, so it's taken a lot of rain.
Ball is out of play over on the far side, and it will be an Arsenal throw. And here is Mohamed Elneny, who is playing pretty deep here for Arsenal. Elneny, who makes his first ever appearance against Swansea. Now it's with Koscielny, who's put in some good performances over the years, scored in a 3-0 away win a couple of campaigns ago here at the Liberty. And initially, when Swansea were promoted, of course, from the Championship, they gave Arsenal all sorts of problems, certainly at the Emirates with a couple of wins, shock wins against the odd successes. But more recently, Arsenal have certainly had their number. This is Mesut Ozil. Now it's with Granit Xhaka, sent off against Swansea, of course, at the Emirates in that 3-2 win. Now it's with Nacho Monreal. And eventually it's gone infield towards Aaron Ramsey. Here is Xhaka. Left-hand side is Monreal. Monreal just rolls it back as Arsenal look to try and dominate that midfield area. Have been playing well back end of this month. There is no doubt about that after a really poor start to 2018. Let's see what Arsenal can do here. Iwobi tries to play it infield towards Lacazette, but there's too many Swansea players there, and it's Olsen that will knock it down the line for Ayew to chase, but it's Koscielny that would just inch it back towards Petr Cech, and for a split second I think some of the supporters just in front of us thought that might hold up in the wet turf. It didn't, thankfully. Norton coming forward now for Swansea, infield towards Ayew. Space on the left-hand side. Let's see what Klukas can do. It's a low ball in that's cleared away by Mustafi. That was neatly done by Swansea.
I wonder if Arsenal was struggling with the way the ball is spinning up off the pitch, the way the water is spinning up off the ball. It's a real sodden pitch. Aaron Ramsey not getting into the game yet. Interesting to see how he fares. I think you said off camera that sometimes it takes a few games to get into his stride.
I always feel that. I always think that he comes in, he looks a bit heavy-legged, not necessarily unfit or heavy, but just needs a few games to get, you know, to the pace of play, to the pitch of any particular game. So I'm expecting a bit from him here, because we've seen him a couple of times as a late sub. Certainly key, you feel, to the way Arsenal play in this certain formation. Here is Elneny for Arsenal, short towards Mustafi, and eventually back for Mesut Ozil. Ozil, left-hand side for Alex Iwobi. Iwobi turns back towards Mohamed Elneny. Had 4 minutes here at the Liberty. Rain continues to cascade down. Here is Alex Lacazette. He's been struggling recently, as we know. Just 1 goal in his last 11 appearances for Arsenal. Here is Ramsey. Left-hand side is Monreal. Now it's with Iwobi once again. Tries to divert it beyond Leroy Fer. And manages to find Ozil. Back towards Ramsey. This is Iwobi inside the penalty area, and he's cleared away on this occasion by Kyle Norton. Arsenal still, though, on the attack on that left-hand side. Iwobi is calling for it. It's in towards Lacazette, and it's thumped away by Fernandez, who captains Swansea, incidentally. The centre-back. A lot of eyes on his centre-back partner, Alfie Mawson, at the moment. He's been rumoured to be potentially on his way. I think if Swansea were to go down at the end of this campaign, then he would be one that a good clutch of Premier League clubs would look at. Not quite sure if he's Arsenal class, but he's certainly Premier League quality.
Well, if you believe the reports, we've been linked with centre-backs, haven't we? So, no, why not?
This is Koscielny. Now it's with Mustafi. Mesut Ozil dropping a little deep, just inside the Swansea City half. Left-hand side is Elneny. Ramsey. Back now for Mustafi and now Koscielny. Koscielny takes a touch and looks to move forward. Jordan Ayew is just getting between defenders at the moment, making life difficult for the Arsenal centre-back pairing to combine. Here is Ramsey, just inside the centre circle, inside the Swansea half, and out wide right for Granit Xhaka. This is Hector Bellerin. Xhaka once again. Arsenal dominate play. Swansea quite happy to sit in. We saw this against Liverpool as well.
Exactly. It's the 5, it's the 4, it's the 1, and they're shuffling across. And Arsenal need a bit of pace and movement to get in behind them.
Mesut Ozil, right-hand side is Hector Bellerin. Ozil once again. Xhaka makes the move infield towards Ramsey. Ramsey takes it away from Mawson. Was he brought down? Ramsey gets up quick enough, and Swansea have it with Leroy Fer. And eventually out towards Norton over on that right-hand side. Long punt forward, hoping to try and get Nathan Dyer in here. And he is quick, Nathan Dyer. He's up against Mustafi. Dyer does well. Are you on the edge of the area? Klukas wants it, takes the deflection, bounces wide, out for a corner. Well, Mustafi was struggling to a certain extent there against the pace of Dyer. Klukas was in a good position. He took it on, and it bounced away. And out for a flag kick.
And this is Swansea's tactic. Let Arsenal come on, just let them be patient and probe, sit deep. And they broke at some pace there, and they got a shot away. We've seen this pattern in many Arsenal away games this season.
So, left wing corner. He gets ready to take. And takes it short. And back here towards Olsen, who whips it in. It's cleared away by Granit Xhaka. Olsen will have another go, potentially to try and centre. Decides to go back towards Norton, who feeds Dyer over on the right-hand side. Fernandes is stayed forward, as has Van der Horn. Here is Dyer on that right-hand side. Klukas waits inside the area. So does Ayew. It's still Dyer. Ayew. Dyer goes again. Looks to get the low ball in towards Klukas. Can he bundle it home? It's not converted. Petr Cech pounces on it. Do Arsenal get a little lucky? Well, that was a half an opportunity, maybe even more than that.
It's great play by Dyer. Great wing play by Dyer. Little give and go. And flashed the ball across the box. We haven't got the benefit of a replay because our monitor, as with the others in the press box, aren't working at the moment. But Arsenal just smuggled it away. Petr Cech got down to stop it going past him. But Swansea created the best chance of this game by some distance.
Klukas was lurking, couldn't convert. Of course, he scored the opening goal in the reverse fixture, in which Arsenal won 2-1. Here is El Neni. And now it's with Mustafi over the halfway line. Shkodran Mustafi, square for Koscielny. Forward to no one in particular, easily picked off by Olsen. Oh, Klukas was on his way. The main stand saw it, but Olsen didn't. But Swansea retained possession. Well, they've got a game plan, haven't they, here, Swansea, by the looks of things.
And we've also got, we're in the front row of the press box here, and we've got some quite energetic Swansea fans who are leaping up every time they go close. So we're not getting the best view, are we?
No.
We're going to ask this guy down here what happened next time.
You can ask him. He looks sizable chap. Anyway, here is Iwobi, left-hand side. Looks to try and slip it through towards Ramsey. Just can't get a boot on that. That was unlucky. Good incisive play. Iwobi in towards Ramsey, making a trademark run inside the penalty area. Just tried to get the left boot on that. Couldn't get anything on it. Fabianski makes a comfortable save, or just collects, really, in truth.
Ramsey playing in those very advanced positions with that security of El Neni and Xhaka behind him. And another typical run into the box from him.
Let's see what Swansea can do here with Ki Sung-yueng, who's been linked with a move away from Swansea. Deadline day tomorrow, of course. Here is Ayew, who's leading the line for Swansea, and scored a goal for Marseille against Arsenal in the Champions League group stage game between the pair a few years ago now. Only time he's ever scored against Arsenal. He's played for 3 different clubs against the Gunners. Arsenal have a throw. This is Ramsey. Thumped away towards Lacazette, but it's Leroy Fer who's in the way. Key will then nod it back towards Fernandes. Got options here. Van der Horn is one, Mawson is another. It's gone towards Van der Horn over on the right-hand side. Back in field towards Fernandes. Now it's with Key. Good pressing from Ramsey. Illegal pressing from Ramsey.
Yeah, really good pressing. Lacazette led by example there. He's very much outnumbered. 3 defenders against Lacazette in the first 10 minutes of this game. But he closed down well. Ramsey followed up, as did Iwobi. And that put Swansea under a little bit of pressure, with just a slightly reckless challenge from Ramsey.
Let's see what Mesut Ozil can do for Arsenal. Right-hand side looking to come forward. Back in field towards Granit Xhaka. Ozil once again couldn't quite take that one in his strides. Swansea will smuggle it to safety. And Jordan Ayew, who will turn against Mohamed El-Neni. Back towards Martin Olsen. Olsen flicks it forward for Ayew. Here is Olsen once again. Forward looking for Klukas, but Koscielny is there. Now it's with Mustafi. Plenty of emails that we've had in. We'll get to one or two shortly. This is Ramsey towards Bayonin, just about keeps it in play. El-Neni has it now. Centre right towards Iwobi. Looks for Ramsey, easily picked off by Fernandes. Now it's with Dyer. Head up on the move. Only Ayew in front of Dyer. Right-hand side is Norton. Over the halfway line comes the former Tottenham man. And he loses out, but it spins back towards Jordan Ayew. And eventually it's gone towards Key. And now it's with Mawson on the halfway line on the left-hand side for Swansea. We've had 11.5 minutes here. Swansea 0, Arsenal 0.
Yeah, pretty even game so far. We've had more of the ball, but I think Swansea have had the best chance. And I think in Dyer and Ayew, they're certainly giving Arsenal some problems.
Long looking to try and hit Norton right-hand side. Good header, one against Monreal, and Dyer is on the move. Norton wants it back. This is Ayew. Tried to find Norton, who'd actually stopped his run, and he was probably too close to Petacek anyway.
Well, Norton was the ball to go for, and Dyer didn't see him. Norton won the ball very well. And suddenly there was a 3-on-2 on that right-hand side, and Dyer went inside to Ayew, and he should really have gone outside to Norton. And by the time the ball came back to him, it was misplaced, so Arsenal got a bit of a let-off there.
There is Leroy Fer. Now it's with Key. Van der Horn under pressure from Lacazette. Chip forward towards Dyer. This time Monreal does win the aerial duel. However, the ball bounces out of play. John's been on, says, I missed having the football weekend just gone. Treated himself to a number of DVDs, including 49, the complete unbeaten record, and 89, Arsenal's triumph against the... Oh, that is a terrific DVD, isn't it? Goes on to say that Swansea can be a challenge for us, but I'm confident that we can win. Score prediction is 3-0. I must admit I was fairly confident on the way up. I think I said 3-1 or 4-1 for the Arsenal, but Swansea have bedded down, haven't they? They're setting in for the night.
Tell you what, John's watch list there. There's recommended items, things you might like, John. It's just going to be Arsenal recommendations, isn't it? Every time he goes onto Amazon, it's going to be Arsenal DVD. Some wonderful stuff there. I was lucky enough to go to the premiere of 89 not too long ago. Just the most unbelievable achievement.
Ozil short for Koscielny. 13.5 minutes on the clock here at the Liberty. El-Neni has it. Now it's with Alex Iwobi. Speaking of Iwobi, John says adding Mkhitaryan surely means the end for Iwobi. Well, not tonight, and I'm sure that Alex will still get his opportunities one way or another. Mawson will pick off a loose ball, and it's back with Fabianski, who will thump it long, the former gunner. Koscielny jumping here with Klukas. Koscielny wins the header, but it falls for Leroy Fer, who powers over the halfway line. Central position, through towards Klukas, inside the area. The challenge from El-Neni. The referee waves play on. The ball spilled through towards Petacek. Now, we haven't got a monitor here. I'm not quite sure how much of the ball that he got there. But unfortunately, if one or two of you guys are watching and listening to us, you might be able to tell us.
It looked like a good tackle to me.
It looked like he got just enough, didn't he?
He slid in, he was sliding in from behind, but he nicked his foot. It looked to me like he nicked his foot around Klukas and got the ball. Great challenge if it was, but the concern is that Arsenal allowed a player to go and running behind so comfortably. That's 2 or 3 times now Swansea have got in.
Lacazette might be in at the other end. The offside flag is up here. Well, I thought that must have come off a Swansea player anyway, but the flag is up. The boos ring out because Swansea weren't awarded a penalty a few minutes ago. But again, we're a little bit in the dark.
Clean tackle, we believe. And El-Neni, if he did make a clean tackle there, it was a wonderful recovery tackle, because Arsenal were torn to pieces, to be honest. A simple ball in behind for Klukas to run onto. That, to me, is the concern.
Scott Spidon says, evening fellas, hoping for a blinder tonight. Come on, Arsenal, let's smash them into next week. Not quite doing that thus far, but a cagey opening, and to a certain extent, I don't mind that so much. Sometimes opposition can be emboldened a little bit, can't they? And they can start to lose their shape and discipline, believing they can get a little bit more out of the game that potentially the manager believes. Here is Granit Xhaka. He's lost out to Key there, and the Korean will feed the ball through towards AU. Olsen is making a move left-hand side. Here is Olsen. Swede knocks it back in field towards Leroy Fer. Now it's with Key. Central position, 45 yards out. Key still has it, 40 yards out. Goes for goal, wide of the target.
Yeah, worth a go in these conditions. With Petr Cech was well behind that one. That's not going to trouble him. But Swansea are playing with confidence.
This is from Yvonne, who says, hello, glad to be listening to you guys again from Toronto, Canada. Think we'll keep a clean sheet, question mark. She asks, hope to see Mkhitaryan play today. How about other transfer news happening right now? The prospect of Aubameyang is super exciting, but with Giroud potentially leaving, not so much. Any thoughts, predictions? Swansea 0, Arsenal 3, says Yvonne, who's in Toronto. Well, what I can say is that we are staying overnight in Swansea tonight, but Chris Harris alongside me here is getting a very early train back.
I've got meetings, lots of meetings.
Meetings about what?
And I like to get up early, you know. I'll have a bit of breakfast. But I won't outstay my welcome in Swansea. And I'll get back.
You're not getting back for anything in particular, then?
I mean, I'd love it if they just called me. I was the first person they came to when if they're going to do any deals. But I'm always the last to know, to be honest. I'll probably know after you. You'll probably give me the call.
Never happens. I am the last to know. Here is Koscielny. Now it's with El Neni. Deadline day tomorrow.
And it finishes at 11, doesn't it?
Yep.
11 p.m. When's it going to stop? About 5 o'clock? Aren't they going to bring that forward?
I don't know.
Because it makes it...
You already know more than me.
Tell you what, if anything does happen, it makes it a very late night.
Or early morning, in Chris Harris's case. Anyway, here is Mustafi. Of course, if there are any deals done, Lacazette, Ozil, through towards Lacazette again. Van der Horn will clear. If there are any deals done, first interviews are always Arsenal.com. First news, official news is always Arsenal.com. So stay close to all our social media outlets tomorrow, just in case.
And you know, we're fans too. We want to see these things happen. We're excited if things do happen. And but often we're reading the same stuff that you're reading, Dan. What are you reading?
The Fire and the Fury. This is Olsen. Cut out by Koscielny. Plenty of fake news in that book. Anyway. It's out of play.
Well, of course, we got to the ground tonight, and there was a tweet that Giroud had gone to Chelsea.
Yeah, this is why you should never believe anything.
I thought he was in the squad, and we saw the team sheet, and he's in the squad and on the bench.
Well, it's not so much we saw the tweet. Matt, who's alongside us working tonight, was watching him come off the coach, and he's not with the squad, and so we're here, and we can tell you that he's actually in front of our eyes.
He looked just like Giroud, that guy.
Yeah. Van der Horn. 18 and a bit minutes gone here. This is key for Swansea. Just on the halfway line. Swansea moving the ball around well. Have created one or two nervy moments as Dyer just flicks it back towards Key. Thankfully nothing to penetrate Petr Cech's goal as he once again goes for that 200th Premier League clean sheet.
And then he's dropping into what looks increasingly like a back three now, possibly because that's where...
Saw that against Chelsea, didn't we?
That's because IU's taking him there more than anything else. But Arsenal are being pulled around by a pretty smart Swansea side. They're moving the ball well, as Dan said. Seem to be dealing with the conditions a bit better. Certainly got their tails up. They fancy this.
Mawson Ford is giving it straight to Koscielny. And Koscielny steps up, takes a look up. Broadens the shoulders, looks to try and find Ramsey, but he can't, and the ball ricochets out for another throw. Theo's been on, says, evening, guys. I found I'm the only person not to be surprised about Mickey not starting, despite him being fit to start the game. I do feel he'll just be fine being a sub. Great person to have at your disposal on a night like this on the bench. Much like, said Kolasinac, and possibly for the last time, Olivier Giroud predicts to be 3-1 to the Gunners. Will go a goal down, but will be too strong for them in the end. Hope you guys have a great night. Remember, greater times are coming, says Theo. I suppose it's sort of typical Arsene really to get your new signing and not maybe playing first game. We saw that with Lacazette. He was in and out initially, wasn't he? I know he did play the first game, but away from home he didn't.
I think this is a bit more of a surprise because Mkhitaryan knows the Premier League well enough Doesn't need to sit down like Perez did in his first game against Sunderland and watch the tackles flying in. But the boss trusts Iwobi. Always has done.
Klukas through, but Cech is there, or Klukas tries to play the ball through to Olsen, but Cech is there. This is Mesut Ozil. Olsen recovers well. The ball spins towards Lacazette, Van der Horn, and now Mawson. But the referee's going to hold play back here, or pull play back, because Ozil was clattered.
He was clattered, and he's picking the ball up quite deep. There's always the telltale sign that we're not really getting very far in the game. He's dropping deep, Ozil, to pick up the ball and try and make a difference.
Here is El Neni.
Just haven't quite hit our stride yet, have we?
Not yet. 21 minutes in.
You told me I couldn't blame the blue kit tonight. You said that wouldn't.
Well, I don't think it's a thing. I know that some people do, but if we start to blame kits, we're in a bad place, aren't we?
Let's put it to the listeners. Is it a thing?
It's not.
Is the blue kit a thing?
Here is El Neni. Just inside Swansea territory. Xhaka, and back to Mustafi, who strides forward and then plays it back towards Iwobi in a pocket of space. Reverse ball for Monreal, left-hand side. 3 inside the box. It's low towards Lacazette. Might fall through towards the Frenchman. It flicked up off Van der Horn and then seemed to hit Lacazette and then bounce back towards Fabianski.
Yeah, it came in pretty quickly. There's not enough anticipation there from Lacazette.
Long for Dyer. Route 1 up against Mustafi, and then he's back pedalling. Swansea still have it. They recycle for Norton, right-hand side. Now it's with Dyer once again. Infield. Oh, that's a misplaced pass. It's gone straight to Ramsey. Now there is the counter on here for Arsenal. It's towards Lacazette. Has he got the pace against Fernandes? Fernandes races across, gets there ahead of Lacazette, and then flicks it back towards Mawson, who turns away from Ozil and takes a touch infield for fair. Confident play from Swansea. Not playing like a side, Chris, at the foot of the table.
Absolutely not. Playing like a side who just beat one of the big boys, which they did. Arsenal, when they had a nice breakaway chance there, and the runs are kind of half-hearted. The vision isn't there. People are making runs. Ramsey's made a couple of runs, haven't really been spotted. Haven't got the fluency at the moment.
Jorneu slides in, doesn't quite take Granit Xhaka down, thankfully. Gets out of the way. This is Bellerin, Xhaka, and back towards Koscielny. Lee Mason, incidentally, the referee tonight. Arsenal unbeaten in the last 19 games that he's stood in. And he did award us that penalty up at Burnley earlier on this season. Myself and Chris were at Turf Moor that day. Here is Ozil. Lacazette looks for the 1-2 with a German, but it doesn't come off. And once again, the out ball to Dyer on the right-hand side. And that certainly is a thing for Swansea. Here he is looking to trick his way beyond Ramsey. Ramsey and Ozil between them get goal side, or rather Xhaka gets goal side, and just halts the progress of Nathan Dyer. And Arsenal have managed to win it back. This is Ozil. Iwobi looking to use a bit of pace on the left-hand side. Norton steps up. Ramsey has it now, tries to ride one challenge. Then he's brought down. Free kick Arsenal.
Yeah, Ramsey's growing into the game. Like the rest of the team, made a bit of a slow start. But it's very even, isn't it? Very even.
Lars reckons 2-0 tonight. Watching it on Danish TV, listening to our commentary. And Gunnar Cass has managed to find yourself some roadkill on the way to Swansea then. Going for a 1-3 win tonight. Actually optimistic for the future. Just need a quality defender. I think he's both of them.
Yeah.
Cass says preferably a leader like Tony Adams was. Iwobi, left-hand side, gets to the byline, tries to cut back. And eventually he does, but it's not the right angle to find another player in blue, and it's Swansea who will clear. Bellerin shows bravery to win the ball back with a header, but AU shows better strength and skill to turn away from the Spaniard. And now it's with Olsen on the left-hand side, over the halfway line, curls it towards Klukas, and it's Koscielny who slides in with the interception.
Yeah, good defending. Koscielny had to time that right.
Throw-in taken quickly, 24.5 minutes have gone at the Liberty. This is Dyer, tries to play it through towards AU, but Monreal is in the way. Norton, AU again on the right-hand side. He's been given licence to move around, isn't he, Jordan AU? Rumours that his brother's going to follow him here from West Ham tomorrow. Mawson for Swansea on the halfway line as Carlos Carvajal side moved the ball from right to left and then back again. Of course, the Portuguese was in charge for Sheffield Wednesday's Carling Cup success, League Cup success over Arsenal. He's new to the job here, replacing Paul Clement. They've had a bit of new manager bounce. They're involved, of course, still in the FA Cup. And it will be returned to Sheffield Wednesday for the manager should Swansea overcome Notts County in a replay. Fourth round, of course, in the weekend just gone.
Arsene Wenger out of his dugout for the first time in this match. Bit of flies starting to gather around your roadkill there. Let's keep an eye on those.
Oh, it's been dead a long time. Anyway, here is Iwobi. Now it's Xhaka. To this near side where Hector Bellerin has possession. Swansea supporters been a little quiet. Previous times we've been here, it's been a raucous venue. But there are one or two nerves around, I think, the city. Given the perilous state of their football club in terms of position in the Premier League. But it is tight. Any three of 8 or 9 for me can go down. Van der Horn for Swansea, intercepts and comes forward, then chips it over to the right-hand side. Ayew is on the move. Mustafi has to get back goal side here. Ayew, Van der Horn has continued his run. Klukas is inside the box. Will it come to Klukas? Elneny's there to knock behind for a corner to Swansea. And it's exactly why Elneny's in that position, but we hopefully don't have to need him that often for situations like that.
I've got to say, Elneny deserves a lot of credit. He sprinted back, and that's more than I can say for some of the other players. I mean, Xhaka was kind of strolling, really, to get back in position there. Maybe he's got a knock or something, but he certainly couldn't run at full pelt. And then he, luckily for us, was, and got there in the nick of time, because he was way down the field when he started that recovery run.
Short corner again, it's gone towards Key, fall inside the box in wide, back out to that right-hand side, it's curled in, it's nodded away by Monreal, and then Fur thought about the volley, then decided against it. Klukas with a curler, just wide of the target. In fact, it was Mawson, wasn't it? It was Mawson with a shot.
It was Mawson. It took a clip off an Arsenal player because it's gone for a corner.
Still haven't got a monitor here. I don't think anyone has in the press box, have they? Mawson it was that got hold of that. It was a really sharp finish, wasn't it, against Liverpool for the winner, and that wasn't too far away. In comes the corner again, more orthodox this time, nodded away by Xhaka. Now it's gone towards Norton, and then fed out to that right-hand side once again. Lucas will redistribute for Norton. Now it's with Fair, in for Ayew. Fernandez and Van der Horn have stayed forward, as has Mawson. And the ball just goes out of play for an Arsenal throw. I mean, for all Arsenal's possession, Swansea have created some dangerous opportunities for themselves.
Listen, we've done a few away games this season. I'm sure Rob and Josh will say the same when they've been on the road with you. It just follows that pattern. We have a lot of the ball, don't really create anything, especially in these first halves. And other teams a bit more direct, a bit more dynamic, a bit more assertive. And they have 2 or 3 chances wherever they are in the table.
28 minutes gone here. Anne's been on from Switzerland saying seems like Kolasinac out of favour these days. Why do you think that is? Still not convinced about Iwobi. Need to win this one, at least 3 to build on the victory over Chelsea last time out. Yeah, a lot of discussion about Kolasinac, certainly. Here is Elneny, left-hand side. Now it's back towards the Egyptian. Can he spin it for Lacazette? He can. Iwobi could be in here. It's Alex Iwobi with a shot. Terrific save from Fabianski. That was out of the top drawer from the former Arsenal keeper. And that's out for a corner. I expected the flag to go up, but that's an excellent save.
Yeah, me too. It looked like he was half a yard offside. But a great first touch to get it out of his feet. And then a strike with the left foot. Fabianski pushed out his right hand.
Really good stop from Lucas Fabianski. 76 appearances for Arsenal. Here comes the corner. It's towards Mustafi. Flicked away. Swansea look to come on the counter. Ramsey has to stretch to get there ahead of Ayew, and does. Now it's with Hector Bellerin on the right-hand side. Alex Iwobi will knock it in field towards Granit Xhaka. Curls it to the left-hand side. Let's see what Arsenal can do here. Ozil towards Mustafi. Arsenal recycle with Elneny. Monreal. Ozil stayed wide left at the moment. 3 inside the penalty area, waiting for any sort of delivery. Still Monreal. Now it's with Granit Xhaka. Monreal once more. Swansea well disciplined, keeping their shape, keeping Arsenal at bay.
Yeah, pretty comfortably as well. Had a Iwobi chance, our best by some distance.
Xhaka.
Now the ref's getting in the way.
Yeah, he can't get there. Iwobi can. Steps in between two Arsenal players. Klukas is on the move here. It's still Iwobi. It's still AU rather, and he's still going, and the shot is poor.
Really, really poor, and he's hurt himself, I think, in the process. He drifted past a couple of players. Mustafi decided not to dive in, changed his mind, and then AU just either run out of steam or hurt himself. Got the shot away, didn't get any purchase behind it at all. Perhaps he stuck his foot in the turf while striking it.
Well, what are your thoughts on Kolasinac, just going back to the email?
I like him a lot. I think he's a left wing back, not a left back. I think his lack of pace counts against him, but if he's got other pacey players alongside him in the team to cover him, I think that helps. Very powerful. I think he had a bad run of form. Technically, he was giving the ball away a bit too much, slowing our play down. But at the start of the season, I think he was outstanding. We've seen what he's capable of. And he does score goals. He makes a difference. He'll put a cross in, he'll put a decent cross in, put an assist in. He does change games. I think also he's used to a winter break, so perhaps he's having a bit of a rest because he needs to acclimatise to that. But all in all, a decent signing.
You're not really surprised that he's been taken out of the first team or starting 11 picture recently, because we've seen that with other foreign imports over the years. And also worth remembering, Germany only have the one cup competition. It's almost done right at the start of the season, or early rounds are, and then obviously it's only a 34-game league rather than 38, plus that big winter break. Here is Lacazette for Arsenal. Now it's with Mesut Ozil. Ozil looks to play it towards Iwobi on left-hand side. He's Monreal again, and he's come in to steer it beyond Fabianski. You would not believe this. How many times have we seen it this season? Nacho Monreal popping up at the far post, ghosting in, and that's a terrific finish. Fabianski could do nothing about that this time around. And the Spaniard, who scored his first ever goal, his fifth ever appearance against Swansea here at the Liberty, has popped up again.
It's a wonderful finish, isn't it? It's a real striker's finish. First of all, to have the eye to make that run. Ozil waited and waited, saw the run. Absolute pinpoint cross into his path, a little diagonal over the Swansea defence. But the finish was lethal. Absolutely fantastic on the run, on the stretch. As you say, Fabianski, no chance. And the goal machine gets another one.
I'm not sure if he tried to claim the one against Chelsea, him personally. I know it ricocheted off two defenders. At the time it came up that Monreal had scored, and I think it was changed to an own goal, wasn't it? But it's just the fact that he, as you say, keeps popping up in the right places.
Are you suggesting he didn't play for that header to deflect off? No. Well, that's precision.
George has been on to say, hi guys, enjoying the commentary. Tomorrow could be great if we're tied. Aubameyang and Evans, great for the first team and fans. It will fill them with confidence. And from what I heard, Giroud might be going to Chelsea, Batshuayi going to Dortmund. Where do you guys think Aubameyang will fit in? And how do we feel about Giroud leaving? Well, not left yet. On the bench tonight. Here is Key breaking forward for Swansea. Arsenal lead by a goal to nil here. The ball is with Olsen on the left-hand side, looking to try and take on Hector Bellerin. Low ball in, should be cleared away by Koscielny. It's going to fall for Ozil, whose touch for once is heavy, but he's recovered well to keep it in play. And then he prods it forward towards Bellerin. Mawson, though, wins it back, looks to come forward. Ozil believes that he was fouled, and Klukas could be in here. He's got away from Koscielny. It's 1-1. Klukas levels things up. Arsenal switch off. The lead didn't last long at all. It is Swansea 1, Arsenal 1. Really good finish from the player who scored at the Emirates, and he's done it again against Arsenal here. Once of hope, started his career at Lincoln. He's played most of his football in the lower leagues, but he's proving a real player of worth in the top flight, and certainly for Swansea this season. We're all square again.
On the balance of play, you have to say they deserve that, but very, very sickening from an Arsenal perspective to see how he switched off so quickly. Simple pass through the Arsenal defence. And a really neat finish. A really neat finish from Klukas. Petacek has to wait even longer for that 200th clean sheet than that minute, a minute and a half maybe for that lead.
Lots of you have emailed in, got a really good response on email. I'll try and get through some whenever I can, but obviously the game is going on. I know that one or two of you always prefer comms rather than emails, but we've had a very good response tonight via email here at the Liberty. We've got 10 minutes to go until half-time. It's been an interesting game so far. It's just come to life to a certain extent. Arsenal taking the lead through Monreal, Klukas equalising, and the Gunners are going to have to try and nudge in front once again. Here is El Neni. central position, just inside Swansea territory, plays it towards Laurent Koscielny. Koscielny to the right-hand side, and Hector Bellerin. Bellerin back for Mesut Ozil. Another assist for Ozil, of course. Will lift it over towards Mustafi. Clears Mustafi, but thankfully Monreal was alive and manages to race back to the halfway line to make sure it doesn't go out of play for a Swansea City throw. Here is Ramsey. Now it's with El Neni. Fer is on him quickly. El Neni doesn't like the challenge. Lee Mason says play on because Arsenal have possession. Now it's with Koscielny again. Infield towards Granit Xhaka. Time to turn. This is Mesut Ozil. He gets goal side. Ozil still has possession on his right side. Flicks it through for Lacazette. Lacazette looks for Bellerin, but the pass is off a little, and Olsen can just shepherd it out of play, and it's a Swansea throw. Stephen says, hi Dan, hope you and Chris are doing well. I wondered if you would like to see the club sign Johnny Evans. Any thoughts? A lot of you mailing about Johnny Evans. Do we need Johnny Evans, Chris?
I like him a lot. He played very well against Liverpool in the FA Cup. He's got a knock though. I mean, last I read, he had picked up a hamstring injury. Not sure if that makes any difference. But I think a lot of Arsenal fans want to see a centre-back. We talked to fans outside the ground before this game, very keen on a central midfielder. I can see that as well. We don't traditionally do too much business in January. And of course, Mkhitaryan's coming already.
You do feel that there are slots available, don't you? Obviously, Theo's gone, and Francis Coquelin's gone, and Alexis obviously is gone.
You wouldn't be at all surprised to see another one come in, but I don't know how many positions will we look to strengthen.
Here is Lacazette. Now it's with Ozil. Back towards Granit Xhaka. Xhaka, El Neni, edge of the Swansea penalty area. Xhaka, first time, left-hand side. Monreal controls, angle of the box on the left flank. Norton gets tight to his man. Now it's with Mustafi. Infield, square for Koscielny. Central position, wide right is Mesut Ozil. Ozil, left-footed on this right-hand side. Curls over to the left flank. Monreal, Arsenal try one side, then the other. And then Monreal gets a cross in, not the worst ball in, and evades everyone, comes through to Bellerin right-hand side. Now it's with Mesut Ozil once again, up against Mawson, short for El Neni, back for Mesut Ozil. Hector Bellerin right-hand side, El Neni has made the move, short now for Mesut Ozil once more. Swansea well disciplined again, they mark their men, keep their shape, everyone behind the ball working hard. Carlos Carvajal barking out the instructions down below as Arsene Wenger sat down once again. Here is Mesut Ozil. Still Arsenal come forward. El Neni, right-hand side, looks to get to the byline. Can he get the cross in? Can't quite wrap the right boot around it. He goes out for a goal kick.
No, not good enough. Just on Evans, you've probably seen more of him down the years than I have. What's your take on Evans? Would he fit into a back three, a back four? What's his big strength?
I would suggest he's of the same level as Mustafi and Koscielny to a certain extent as well, because Kostas, I think, has just dropped a little bit. We know he's got this Achilles issue that keeps him out. I mean, Koscielny is one of the best defenders in the league, but they're a precious commodity, aren't they, centre-halves all of a sudden? I think Evans would be an upgrade on Holding and Chambers, simply because he's got more Premier League experience. I think both of those two players have got potential to get there, but they're both still young. They're both 22. So, you know, you've got to say that he would be an improvement on that. In terms of his style of play, he's a ball-playing centre-half, isn't he? He
so
likes
that fits.
You know, that fits. He's good in the air, he's strong, he reads the game well. There's an awful lot of quality.
And he's had this pedigree, isn't he, from United, being coached the right way. He's a pedigree player.
I think one thing that a lot of Manchester United followers would suggest is that, you know, they didn't really want to let him go, and Sir Alex Ferguson, we read, was surprised that Louis van Gaal let him go and thought that maybe another defender was going to go out of Old Trafford rather than Evans, and Ferguson, if he was still in charge, would let him go, but that's what happened. I think he will find a better club than West Brom. Here is Fer, who robs Ramsey. He's got no real support. He might not need it. He skips away from two challenges. He's got Ayew to his right. It's still Fer, looks to try and curl it beyond Petr Cech. That was the wrong decision. Thankfully, from an Arsenal point of view, Ayew was in acres of space. Fer wanted the glory. He'd done the hard, but he got a bit lucky to bounce between Ramsey and El Neni. He had Koscielny to beat, who was backpedaling. Ayew was in all sorts